Hello beings, welcome to the experience. My name is Experiencia Flamino, and today I'm going to show you what my experience was like spending 30 days using an Orgone Box. Before I start this video, I kindly ask you to help me out with a little like. Your support really helps my work a lot, and leave that magic word in the comments, which is super important here on the channel. Pocahontas, okay, what is an Orgone Box and what is it used for? It's a bit complicated to explain, in my opinion. So, I'm going straight to the place where these Orgone boxes are made and where someone can explain exactly what they're for and how this so-called Orgone box works. Alright, I'm here with Nicholas, the maker of the Orgone boxes. And first of all, can you quickly explain to people what an Orgone box is and how it works?
The Orgone Box is basically a device created by Wilhelm Reich, who was a psychotherapist. And its purpose is to accumulate vital energy, which he called orgone, inside it. And so, when the user enters the box, he receives this high charge of orgone from the box. What it does is, because of its shape, being alternating layers of cotton and metal, the cotton attracts the energy, the metal reflects it, and since they're alternating layers, this increases the power of this vector, right? It creates an inward flow of energy inside the box where that energy is concentrated.
So the more barriers, the more
layers, the more power. Usually a 5-layer box will have on average 4 times more energy inside it.
5 layers of metal?
Metal and cotton alternate, so if I say it's a 5-layer box, it's 5 layers of cotton alternated with 5 layers.
Got it. And this is the workshop where the boxes are made. Hi guys, is there one we can see inside?
Watch, we'll demonstrate how it's filled.
Are you going to show how to fill it?
Cool. And the sheets alternate.
I got it.
Made of steel and cotton. So that's a total of 5 layers.
5 layers of that, I see. Has the Orgone box ever been useful for you? Has it ever worked for you?
I had, when I built my Orgone box, my first Orgone box. I had just gone through a tough time in my life. I'm allergic to corn, right? I've been allergic since I was a child, but I didn't know, and I always had health problems because of it. But then, when I moved to this small farm, I planted corn and ended up eating corn every day. That ended up making me really sick, and I didn't know what it was. I didn't know it was the corn, and I kept getting worse and worse, losing weight. And there came a point when I thought I was going to die, but I ended up finding out later that it was the corn, and I stopped eating corn as soon as I found out. It was around the time I built my first Orgone box, and it helped me recover, you know?
Well, alright, right? I already knew how it worked, and basically what I had to do during those 30 days was really easy, right? Compared to other experiences here on the channel that I just... So, in this experiment, basically, I had to test in as many different ways as possible. If I felt anything in the Orgone box, then test with meditation, test without meditation, test after meditation, test before meditation. I decided to do all the possible tests to see if I had anything to report or feel any different sensation to show you guys, right?
Well, bye. Okay, let's go. There's a detail I didn't mention to you guys.
I have to use this here. Look, it's like a blanket, and inside it's full of steel wool. There's even a correct side to use, which is the side, I think it's the side with the little balls, which goes on top. I have to be naked in there and keep the fan on since I'll be closed in, right? I'm going to point the fan at it because it's going to be hot. I asked the guy who came here what he feels. He said right away, like, it's really hot, let's do this, right? I hope the heat doesn't get in the way of the meditation experience. I'm going to find out how Nesco feels inside a box. Okay? Let's talk about my first experience here. It's hot. The heat bothered me a little. Yeah, even though the fan is right here, see? Pointed at the box, right? But the box stays closed, so only a little bit of air can get in from the top, right? The little air from the top wasn't enough. I must be a bit sweaty, and that bothered me. I stayed inside for half an hour, not too long, right? Next time, I have to do it for longer. When I went in, I got shocked. You know that little static shock? When you get close to people and it zaps, and it triggered a bit of anxiety. Yeah, I went in there and then I touched the wall and it went zap. Then I was like, oh man, am I going to keep getting shocked in here? Then, until I could focus and say, okay, I'm not getting shocked anymore, I put my hands on the walls, and it took easily about 10 minutes for me to really calm down. And another thing, a silly detail that bothered me a little. I was sitting cross-legged, and my knees, both of them, were touching the edges. Now that I stopped to think about it, I thought, man, I could have sat facing the other way, turned to the side, and then I wouldn't have had this problem. But I didn't think of that at the time. Actually, let me see. Just so you can see, it's totally possible. I think it was actually made to be used sideways. My mistake. I should have asked them. Look, here, it fits perfectly. Wow, the size is just right. Look, I can be really comfortable here like this, now facing forward. Look, facing forward the way I was, my knees hit, it's because I got in here and closed it, right? I didn't think about that. Anyway, I meditated the first day, I meditated the second day, I meditated the third day, I wasn't feeling anything, I meditated the first week, I was changing up the times, right? I did some half-hour meditations, some 40-minute meditations, I even did a 1-hour meditation, which was a bit hard because it was hot. Then I started thinking like, hey, I can switch it up, do this during the day and then at night, because Nicholas said, right? He was the guy who brought the organ box here. He said that during the day is when it kind of recharges itself, so the daytime would be the peak moment for me to be able to feel something. Although, you know how things work around here, right? For those who follow the channel, you know I'm a bit insensitive and I even have that little problem of not feeling the effects of intoxicants, right? After having meningitis, I developed a side effect where drugs don't affect me. I don't get drunk, many medicines don't work, anesthesia sometimes fails, and even ayahuasca felt like water. So I'm not a good point of reference for this kind of thing in terms of sensitivity, you know? So I went to find other people to get different points of view here on the channel, and I got two really cool people here to share their stories, right? To test the organ box and share their experiences right after, right? And the first person was Guilherme Romano. Today I'm here at home with Guilherme Romano. Hi. And today he came both to bring me some things, right? Like this little meditation bench, because I'll show you later how it works. He also brought me his books. He's going to explain some specific meditation techniques to me, and he's going to test the Orgone Box. Well, so since he was going to teach me the meditation methods for me to use in the box, he started by showing me a stretching exercise, right? Stretching is very important before you start meditating, especially for long periods, right? Because you'll be more comfortable if you've stretched, and I'm really stiff, so I really need to stretch a lot. After the stretches, he taught me some breathing techniques that were very different from anything I had done before and really cool. And then in the end, he ended up showing me 2 different meditation methods. And now he's getting ready to go into the organ box, and let's see how it's going to be. His account, well, let's see what it's going to be like. I think he's going to sit in the lotus position. He's got a little thing in his hand there for counting, and a mala, and you're going to do Kriya Yoga, right? Yeah, or whatever fits in this space. He's a bit bigger than me, so let's see.
Don't worry, I'll close it here.
If I feel like I'm going to die, I'll scream. Well,
Guilherme is over there, already in the box. He said that at any moment I can open it to film him because he'll be on another planet, so it's no problem. He meditates in even noisier and worse situations. So let's see how he is. I guess he's okay, judging by his eyes, so let's see. Hey man. Are you okay?
alright, let's go. Sauna, guys, it's really hot.
Can't do it?
Can't do it. Well,
Take a moment to recover, and then we'll record a better report here.
I think first it's good to give some context that I had already done a bunch of meditations in different places. So, like in the city with noise, in the
He already has quite a bit of experience, like several years already with meditation.
Yeah, and like doing meditation in a more suitable environment, I don't know, in nature, in a cave, in a temple, it makes a difference. I don't know if it's just purely psychological, but you really become more present. It's easier for you to stay more attentive, more in the now, right? What did I feel from the box? Heat, an intense heat. I did Kriya, which is my practice, Kriya Yoga. I did the pranayamas in there, breathing in there. Look, what did I feel? First, it's pretty uncomfortable. I stayed in lotus position the whole time, but you couldn't move. For me, it's not a problem. I'm used to staying still now. Speaking very honestly, I have experience with both spiritual practices and meditations. And with all due respect to those who made the box, I didn't feel any metaphysical effect. No extraordinary effect that I hadn't already felt doing my usual practices, you know. Of course, I felt a much stronger effect in the places where I'm used to meditating here at the Institute in India, in places that are sacred to me, than inside the box.
Alright, he meditated once, just once in there. I meditated several times, but I'm also not much of a benchmark for other people because I'm a bit insensitive to some things. He only meditated once. This really depends on the person, right?
Yeah, but look, you're saying he's insensitive. But I'm here as your friend and your new teacher. Douglas is able to do some really deep practices, okay?
Wow, hearing that from a guy like him, man. My self-esteem just left the room.
My master usually says that all you need to meditate is a body that breathes. Up to this point, I imagine that everyone watching this video fits into that category.
If not, that's kind of strange. I'll share his social media if you want to learn more. His channel is great and shares lots of content. The Institute is also linked. How does it work?
Instituto Revolução de Si, it's our school. So on the channel you have a lot of material, content to watch for free, even meditation exercises, and here at Instituto Revolução de Si on Wednesday nights we have free meditation. For those who want to do it and those who want to study. We also offer our meditation course, which is online and teaches everything from how to sit, breathe, and everything else. Even the practices you've learned, some of the ones you've learned there, if you want to study here with us, it's every Sunday from 8:30 to 11, and there's a lot of stuff too. On Instagram, I answer the questions people ask. There's the book about meditation that we made.
Also content about meditation you'll find here and there.
Alright, I had already spent more than half a month testing the box in several different ways. I tested it before going to sleep, I tested it after waking up, and I hadn't had any very different results. I had very deep, very good meditations inside the box. There was even a day when I meditated after Guilherme taught me his method. I stayed for an hour, more than an hour. I stayed for about an hour and 20 minutes inside the box. And I had an experience like that. Man, I wrote about it, right? Because the sensations and insights were very different from what I'm used to, even when meditation works really well. And it was really cool, it was really positive, you know? The insights I had were really useful, you know? It was about the way I use my time and the people around me who take up my time. In my life, I've had some very random sensations related to color vision, to tactile sensations, which are very hard to explain. But I can't give credit to the box because of that, because I've had similar experiences outside the box. Inclusive, nesse período de... I believe I was about 17 days in before Guilherme arrived to teach the method, though I didn't count exactly. I had already had a really nice meditation inside the box and 2 really nice meditations outside the box. And it doesn't really matter, being inside or outside. Sometimes I think it's about the day, sometimes it's about how focused I am. It doesn't rely as much on something external or an object, from my point of view. Another point of view I had was Kadu's. Kadu also creates content about this. Also, he has already traveled to several countries where meditation originated, and he did a little meditation with me there. At the place where I went to meet the producers of the Orgone Box, I ended up meeting him that day. A really nice guy, really nice. He also understands more about meditation than I do, and he has a lot more experience too because he went back to where it originated and all that. He even has a course on nootropic breathing. Crazy stuff. He led a meditation for us there, which was really cool. Then we went into the box afterwards, and right after that he shared his experience there with me.
Kadu, tell us what you felt with the box.
Not just with this one, he stayed in this one, and there's that one over there, behind the pyramid. Tell us your story.
This is my third time entering an organ box. I find the concept very interesting, which is a space, a container that accumulates. Orgone, in the view of William Reich, who was the psychotherapist who created body therapy and developed this box. But when he talks about organ, he's talking about prana, he's talking about vital energy, he's talking about mana for the Polynesian people, he's talking about this life energy, and how can this be accumulated? And it's helping to reorganize the body within a compact space. So when I'm in here, I feel a bit more intensity in the way energetic fluctuations, subtle sensations and tensions come and go, arise and dissolve within the body. And I think that fundamentally this is a practice for overall well-being, but for people who develop autoimmune diseases or other illnesses that can also be treated in alternative ways. That's the case. There are articles talking about this. I think it can be a good experiment, especially when accompanied by a body therapist, an organ therapist, someone who understands a bit better how this works, how the body relaxes and where it holds tension, and how to use this here along with body awareness and breathing. I think it can be very effective.
Well, so we have a positive report from Kadu. You felt a difference, right? Nicholas also felt a difference. Guilherme and I didn't feel any difference. So, for you to understand, using just one person as a reference point for an experience isn't valid, right? So, I'm not saying you should test everything here on my channel, but if you want real tests in your own life, instead of just looking at someone else's experience, do it yourself. As much as possible. So, that's the best way for us to find out if something works or not, by testing it ourselves. And thank you so much to everyone who watches the video and leaves a like here, right? To help me out, leave a like, right? See you in the next experiment. That's an impressive name they picked, right? Look, that's a lot. When you say it like that, it sounds like dramatic music will play and something mystical will happen, like you'll come out as Tutankhamun. Wow, that's not it at all. Because if he has a master, and his master has a master, automatically his master is a master.
Well, and the first thing I do when I go in is start looking for the best possible position.